I'm just coming from the rural areas. I've been in the rural areas since 2023 November up until this month, right? So now I am here. We're gonna go back to where I started, to where it all began, right? But in that, I'll be telling the lessons that I've learned. Before we go to where we started, I'm just gonna give two lessons. Then we're gonna go to the other lessons. Lesson number one that I learned was to not trust the system and people. I trust in the system and trust in the people. I'll go in deep later on in that. Then the lesson number two is do not mix with people who are not in line with your vision, or do not mix with informals if you are a formal person. Do not mix with people who are doing nothing if you want to be doing something in life. So going back,
so before you go back there, you said you learned not to trust the system. Maybe you can just clarify which system exactly are we talking about?
Not necessarily the Zimbabwe government or what, just the system of how things are. Remember, the Bible says we wrestle not against flesh and blood, right? Mm-hmm. So pandinokura, I want to do a trade. Isati exist in Zimbabwe. There is no industry for that. Of course, it's a deeper subject, but basic survival skills. Zimbabwe rewards criminals if you are an honest person. Personally, in school, I was a top student, right? So I expected to follow the right paths, and don't go personal hurdles. But usually the hurdles, not deliberate hurdles, and need the system. The system is designed to break you. The system is designed to break your spirit, to break your will. And there are people who are out there to capitalize on that. It will make sense, the whole story later on.
All right, yeah. So now maybe you can now say you want to start from the beginning and not from the end, because people are asking to say, where was Dr. Clarence? We want to know where did he go until we come back now. How did he resurface and something like that? So maybe you can go from the beginning and tell us how you started and everything went.
Okay, the short story on what happened. Where was I would say it's normal. I'll go deeper one later, right? But I'm going through, or was going, I think I'm still going through a midlife crisis. A midlife crisis is something that is normal, but it's not normal to a person, right? Crisis, there's something known as a midlife crisis. It's something that I was going through due to the way andakakurao, there are things like political intelligence, emotional intelligence, maturity. I'm not saying I'm immature, but personally, I'm more of a technical person than a real person. I'm a technical person. However, my aptitude is very high, and I grasp concepts very fast. I learn. I do not make mistakes twice. I learn from my mistakes and move on. So, on the issue of the system, not trusting the system, those lessons, those life lessons, there is no educational institution. We don't learn that in social studies in school. When we're doing religious and moral education, we don't learn that in school. So another mistake which I made in my life is moving back to the ghetto where the informals are. But we're gonna go there. So I went to school. Of course, I was a top student. Me and my friends, they started my top students, right? Then after school, we went separate ways. I went to Delta Technical Institution. That was 2005 to do an apprenticeship there. Then I dropped out after having an anxiety attack. So I got an anxiety attack into an apprenticeship. Then I got another anxiety attack here, the anxiety attack. Okay. Then I didn't know I was autistic, right? Not that it's an issue. It's not it's a non-issue, right? Imagine growing with autism and not knowing it. So this is what happened. So 2005, right? That same time we would be hanging out Kumarain Maneru, freestyle. So we were linking with guys Anana. and does the D before atombone mbiri, right? Then 2006 2008 I joined Nitrate Studios. Then I was not called Dr. Clarence Ndainzi graphics, because I was doing graphics, strategy, marketing. We were doing my video mixtapes. I think my days why I'm my Tairoa Pirates akumana masidi yanga kanyonzi Nitrate energy logo energy blue, so right. Then and then the graphics my days while we were doing videos. We did King Labash Mkumani Mskana actually remixed it. I was doing my videos, but Rocky Russo would allow me in the studio in Chilekoda, working with Nana Mr. Nitrate, Anna Junior Brown. So that was the first time I met XQ. XQ was one person who was very close to me that time. Before that, I meet up Nastana, right? So around that time, from 2008, I think 2006, 2007, 8, 9, right? I was working with a guy in Skimton Tanki. He's one of the guys who helped me. We worked with Metro Studios. We were doing my videos. And I'm a Diz, about Jehovah. I think around that time we did King Shad Mayoni, right? So King Shad with a mixer, Chienda Sports Diner. Sports Diner, kwa kuni the people trying to cheat there. I shall Sports Diner. Understand what you raw music Sports Diner. My days, I work in a book cafe, right? And I would also be going to Book Cafe. Around that time, I became an editor for Easted Blues. I think it's one of the soap in Zimbabwe. I compliment and it's not I compete, because a lot of people do not understand my meaning in my ways. They also try to compete, but I compliment the Studios 263.
Yeah, so,
right?
So before you move forward, you mentioned something that you found out that you had autism when you had literally grown up and you had gone to school. Maybe if I may ask, how did that set you back in terms of advancing the career that you wanted to take, and did that affect you in any way?
No, it didn't set me, because I do not know another normal that is not myself, because I'm not myself. I'm not saying that I do things that are normal, but I find some things that some people find normal not being normal, like the way we live, just interaction, how people associate in terms of our relations. We go back to the issue of social interaction and emotional intelligence. Generally, I'm a sociopathic person. I do not have a lot of friends. I do not associate with people, and around that time, I'm going through a midlife crisis. I actually deliberately cut out all relationships with anybody. Maybe it was because of shame, and sometimes another reason is I thought I'm protecting them from what I will talk about later on.
Okay. Yeah, so now you can take us back from when you were working with Rocky and other people.
Yeah, so we were doing Easted Blues, right? So Dr. Clarence, the name came, I don't know, is it Rocky, is it XQ, is it Eddie? Who gave me that name? I'm not sure. Right? But Dr. Clarence azonyazozikanwa. Vanonga vachiti Dr. Magaitsa Stanambiri. I don't know about that, because we did a project together and the project got big, right? Stananga ine mbiri yake, indandineyo mbiri yangu, right? Then we did something. We did Team Wombe with Toby, right? Actually Team Wombe chakatoirekuita kuchitungwiza kuzengeza. That time ndanda kuheshim fish, right? I'm not gonna go deep into the details. Then we do Team Wombe. Then we do a remix. Yeah, Stan and Ariana mixtape, right? My remix, it was a taboo to do my remix then. Actually, when we were working in King Labash, right? King Labash, what we were doing, but I'm coming to Zimbabwe muno mkurekoda Maridima International actually was taboo. So we started doing my song for my international rhythms. In doing that, kutenga zvinhu zvinyowani muZimbabwe, right? So we were using autotune. Ndikwanza autotune. At a point ndanda kutofunga kuti muZimbabwe ndimuno ndakatanga kushandisa autotune, but actually I think the person I kushandisa autotune achitoshorwa, I had forgotten through the time, is Russo kuNitrate Russo I record another Diana's the big music. Personally, in a terms of discography, I'm going to ndakaita each and each. Sometimes ndinotoona wake munanenge ndinakagadzira chinhu ichi because madays acho notaisisa matags. Russo ndiaiwanza matag. This is Russo. Russo akuita sei dzinoda kusika dzinokuwanza, but everybody now akuisa matag pamasong, right? Those days. Then I think 2010 ndamboenda SA, right? Then 2013 I'm in Zim. I'm doing a 100-track album, did a house album, then did a song, a remix song as Lines Zimbabwe. Then I got 4 Zima nominations, right? So through the years, graphics, right? Graphics, computer programming, and other things, right? Not necessarily on the sidelines. Was anything I do, I don't say on the side. Around that time, 2013, I remember any time. The perception right? So another lesson is from people. Some people take sophistication for madness, and one person's simple is another person's complicated. You know, so I didn't mind it. I don't mind. It's been happening over Chikoro. So 2013, something happened in Lasungwa. Dr. Clarence has been arrested for being Babajuka. I'm wondering, where did he get that story?
But were you arrested? What had happened there for that story to come out?
I was arrested for some fake stories. And Pandaka Sungwe Papo, when Vakawanda watched my witness, because I was never really exposed because Vandrum Dick, Nango Garandri indoors, Daisa to Garamaram Street, in Zumunas number of Rain. Right, I was always an indoorsy person. Right, so that's my first time to get arrested. Why am I being arrested? Oh, I don't know where my charges from Norway. It sounds unbelievable. Anyway, we go through that. 2014 we did Machira Chet, the King Shah, the Sawira, 2015 etc. So 2016 I concentrate on YouTube full time. We were doing my comedy skits. I think Terana Burre Mashanga. I was doing Notorious Chiremba, doing my comedy skits, because of my viral videos, right? Just making content, not necessarily in the Ibuda nini. No. Then 2018, when the lockdown, I started going through a lot of depression, right? A midlife crisis. Then I started noticing harassment. Harassment is serious. Bullying is serious. So, what is going on? Maybe it's things that have always been happening and I didn't take time to notice because I was always being busy, because I feel better while working. So before 2018, 2015 is actually where it started. 2015, I told my mom, anyways, I don't want to talk about family, anyways, deep, because mom's yangu, I see mom's yangu ndega. Nostanga nzongo kuti anezwa mama pa TV wewe uroda kuti but ndi mom's yangu ka, you know. So I'm in a difficult position. Maybe vanodaro, they have their own reasons. Anyways,
yeah, but maybe
so
on the lighter note, you can tell us what you told your mom, because you said you started going through that was 2015, right? And maybe what you
2015 the other moms, I'm noticing something. That is the time I decided to start associating with people, because they're going to I didn't know then could reverse psychology. You do not think it, you know. So 2015, I'm getting into active philosophy. I'm observing society. Kuti zvakamira sei. So a lot of people want to speculation on Dr. Clarence and about drugs. I don't do drugs. Have I done drugs? Yes. From 2015, right? So personally, what I've learned from drugs, you need to take note this, because nyama drugs kunetsa muZimbabwe vanhu vakawanda vane hama dzavo dziri kuita madrugs. Drug addiction existed. There's what we call social isolation, right? Kana munhu asina social support system, right? Usually madrugs anokonzereswa nechi. Madrugs anokonzereswa what we call peer pressure. We know that term, or conformity. Conformity on drugs. All right. Ukashaya madrugs unoita sei? Are you drug dependent? Wanga waronyanya kuita madrugs akawanda sei to an extent yekuti waita drug dependent. I'll give an example ye drug dependence. Munhu anomwa ma-ARV akaregeza kunwa madrugs chinomuraya i-withdrawal ye-dependence, drug withdrawal, because system yake yajaira. It's like even ukachinja food unoonera mudumbu, that sort of things. Then there is a word called addiction. Addiction, if we look at the word, there's ad, then diction. Diction from the word dictionary, diction, prediction, right? It's an idea. Addiction, that is addiction. It is mental, so you don't get addicted by the drug. You get addicted by people. Vanokupa peer pressure or vanokureminder. Now, when you're told realities, ukashaya chakati, unoita chakati, right? So personally, I'm a media person. We work manero and it pasina drugs, right? Pasina drugs, unongo senza. Then there's speculation. Anita zuma drugs, and zuma drugs. Inini, I've embraced the controversial character or the controversy take. I don't mind it, right? Come on, drugs, I do not mind it, right?
But so what you're saying is that you never really got into drugs, or you did get in and then you got out?
Yes, I got in and got out because it's no use in the Rambo Shandisa using maybe for fun, but there's no fun in that, right? There's really no fun in that. Actually, right now I'm still smoking cigarettes. I'm quitting cigarettes because from period of 2018, period of lockdown. I'm not really sure, but smoking my cigarettes, but actually things like beer I don't even take. Then Mbanje, I've tried Mbanje 2010. I just 2010 ndikaona hazina effect hazina effect pandiri. So later on takutaurawo family kwedu vanga kuti vanhu vakapatsika magoshongo ropa redu harienderane nembanje, vamwe vachiti ukaita mbanje unogona kupenga etc. But personally kwandiri mbanje has never had any effect. So how do drugs remain in a system when you are stagnant now? Pananda better get back to and from my drugs because pandakati clean. A friend, Master H, the Akadontora, kind of waterfalls. Then we stayed there just to avoid the environment, right? So, time yo, I think 2018, towards the end of 2018, 2019, because my life from a period 2018, 2019, 2021 to 3, 4, these past 6, 7 years, I don't really know what was happening. Oh, that was you know. So in that, I'm still alive. I just thank God for that.
Oh yeah. So let's go to the time when you started the analysis, politics. How did you get there? Because like you've mentioned that you've been more into music and producing, and I've known you from that. How did you transition from that into politics, into more analysis?
Okay, before we go to the issue analysis and politics, and the issue, the past 6 years, I don't know what was happening. So there's somebody who is a social worker, anonzi Takazhida Chigodora, who just began communicating with me, counseling me through the passage of time, because I reached the time when I Buddha Panze, who associated Nevanu. Just following after lockdown, I mean, lockdown, that depression. So getting back the confidence, getting back the identity, etc. Then analysis politics. I don't call politics. I don't call analysis. But the world is evil. We do not have a lot of good people. Vanhu havadi kutaura chokwadi, kazhinji vanhu vanonyepa. So I took it upon myself kuti kana pasina munhu anotaura chokwadi pinpointer, because in the industries I've pioneered many styles, many trends, right? So I had actually forgotten kuti I am myself kuti chinhu ichi ndindakachitanga kachi, chinhu ichi ndindakachitanga ichi, neissue yandataura my lessons learned in life, mixing with the informals, right? Mixing in with the informals. Another mistake I made was going back to live in the ghetto, right? Vanhu vemughetto vane perception yipi, vane madreams api, right? Anybody with dreams, kune inonzi pull down mentality iri mughetto. Anybody with dreams is pulled down. So to those vachiri kuenda kuchikoro, as soon as you wapedza chikoro, don't get into the streets. Do not mix with informals. They vanokusvibisa brain dzako their philosophy, their beliefs. They could believe what zvinhu zvakaoma. Of course, zvinhu zvakaoma, right? But if you pursue your paths without sitting down, you pursue your paths with confidence, there is no two ways about it. You get there. Of course, as we live in a spiritual world. Everything is spiritual, but atidi nyaya dzekuti ndakaroiwa ndazokandidwa kamushonga kakati ndokarota kuti zvinhu zvangu zvisafambe. Ukanobhenga mari iwewo nhasi, kana pasina kuti yabiwa, unongosvika irimo kana wakuda kuitora mangwana. Ukaenda kubasa iwewe, payday rako hapana panozonzi pay yako haina kupinda muaccount, kana isina kupinda muaccount zvinonogadziriswa, usi munyama or what. Ndikutaura mabeliefs akazara kughetto. So some of the beliefs are actually delusional, and they view visionaries like me semunhu ari delusional. So this thing we call politics, I will call it political intelligence. It's in line with the chivanhu. Kana chiti chivanhu kora humanitarianism or socialism. Kurarama kwatinoita. As I'm making content, right, we are looking at which content trends. Right, politics is not actually content that trends, but it's a passion. Content that trends is it's entertainment. Entertainment is not trend akufura zvinhu zvese, right? But I had to actually shift and expand. At the same time, I'm building my channel, which was stolen. I don't know by who. I don't know for what reason. Right? I'm trying to build a platform. So platform here could have grown faster and better. Anyways, Munagaiba, if you're watching this video, it's actually nothing, right? Because we were destined for great things by God. Maybe so that I can focus on focusing. Because when I look at it at the same time, maybe it just kept me busy for no apparent reason. So right now, I'm working, I'm getting help from the likes of Gambakwe. I'm actually realizing the importance of separating workplace, staying place, etc. My experiences and Kanganwa personally.
All right. So I think I was reading a story there that your equipment at some point in time yakapiswa, and a lot of it was vandalized. I don't know. I was just looking at that to say, was it because you had started analyzing politics, or just because you started talking about politics? What is
Zvakazangana. Kughetto kune mbavha. I have to make these things clear, right? Harassment is real. Kana nchitaura inosounda delusional. Anditi kune vanhu vanonyeperwa ngemapurisa votobira vanhu mari, vanonyeperwa ngemaCIO votobira vanhu mari. Sure munhu no offense to anybody, asina kana grade 7 obva waya achindidzwa ndiri muCIO tati mwana munanga tizokushungurudza auta kuti ndimutonyore, right? Patopera papublic chara izvozvo mumwe munhu angona kutodza kunzwisa kuti chii ndikuziva kuti itsotsi iriri, that's why ndisingatyi kuzvitaura kuti munhu ari kuti zvakati zvakati. So nyaya yekubirwa iyi hamene ndakabirwa kangani more than 10 times inyaya yekudzokera kugeto iyo, right? Even right now ndasiya kumba kwakadaro ndinge ndichitovhunduka kuti ndichasvika. Anyways, pandakabva kumusha ndakasvika mbo muri ground musina kana anything, zero nothing, like ground musina kana dust kana kauswa. you know. So then when I was in Waterfalls, again pane time ndandisina equipment, so I sold mota ndandinayo and I bought some equipment to be able to be doing live videos, and I was robbed at gunpoint. Phone yacho yabiwa and sandamboita warrant search yekuitreka because somebody akangonditi siyana nazvo, right? Iyo nyaya trust in people ndikangoti ndaudza somebody angoti siyana nazvo ndikatreka ndisiyane nazvo. So actually I never trusted, not really trusted people, but I never distrusted people. I never distrusted people, right? Because chinhu chisati chamboitika kwauri unoziva sei chinoitika. Kana usati wambotosvitwa neimwe behavior nemumwe munhu, how do you know kuti vanhu vanodai so? I'm not saying kuti vanhu vakandidai so. I'm just saying I'm in life. I am learning life. I'm learning the things to avoid, the behaviors to avoid, the people to avoid. And anyways, we wrestle not against flesh and blood. People are spirits, people. You know that verse here, I have to explain it because I view the Bible as a book of philosophy. Why did they mention not against flesh and blood? Meaning what we'll be seeing is flesh and blood, but what are principalities? Principalities, they are principle parities. The opposite of principles. They are the wrong principles. Principalities are the informals, things that do not make sense. Principalities mitemo nezvidzidzo zvisiri izvo zvinenge zviri mupfungwa medu nemaspirits medu zvinotonga munyika muno maideas. Kana munhu aine idea yake anobhelieve kuti iri good kwaari, haafaniri kufunga kuti iri good kwandiri, especially kana tisina relationship. Chaanokwanisa kungoita kundiudzawo, it's up to me kuti zviapply kwandiri. One haafaniri kundiudza kana ndisina kumboenda kwaari. Kana achitouya anofanira kutiudza kuti shamwari ndangouyawo, but that is improper. Then we have people who want to impose their beliefs on other people. Their beliefs anenge atori wrong. Mumwe munhu anogona kutondibata oti Clarence wadi kuita saningi. Ningi mufeso wangu ndanichotaura naye mamanje unomuudza ire izvozvo. Because people do not actually know what will be going on. Through the years, I've worked with many people. Anana Killer T, asita kutombozikanwa achiri kugara kusengeza uko. Anana Toki Vibes, right? Anana Shinzo Man, anana DJ Mbale, Confused, you know. Vasati vakutombozikanwa, and we've done a lot of things together back then. I asked my stories ekuti nditaure kana iye asina kutaura story yacho ndizvozvo.
Okay, so now going forward, now that you're back, you said you've been going and probably are now sort of like moving from that phase of midlife crisis, and maybe you're looking forward to growing back your channel, like you said, with Yakabiwa, and you don't know who did it. So what should we expect from you now going forward and in terms of growing back, coming back to content creation?
Yeah, content creation so far, the limiting factor is obviously equipment, because I'm a technical person. I'm fast. Remember, from my lessons learned that another person's simple is another person's sophistication. In the easy quantity because in the cheater. So actually, I never realized there's the word easy. Then when I'm like, what would I say? What edit a video under 3 months? Video, I'm going to a video editor. And script etc. You know, those things my graphics, it was saying, right? So for me, I've always been technical and on point in that technicality. So I'm not necessarily fast, or maybe I'm a fast learner. Of course, I'm a fast learner. You know, so when you're working with slow equipment, it's frustrating. It's no like creativity, and the nepatave up.
All right. Thank you so
Quality,
much.
quality
Thank you
out
so
there.
much, Dr. Clarence. Well, that was Dr. Clarence there telling us about his life story, where he started, why did he disappear, and what we should look forward to in terms of content creation. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Marvelous Damini. Until next time, it's a goodbye.